Come on, I'm like Tar. I was working on, honestly, just to prep for this entire show. All I did was watch Tar.
Yeah?
3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
And guess what, man? It sucks.
Yeah? Didn't like
really,
Tar?
really sucks. But one thing is, have we begun? Are we recording this?
Are you ready
record?
are you ready for the sequel? Retar?
Honestly, we probably could learn more from that. But you know what's nice? I'll say. What's nice about reading somebody else's manifesto is that it gives me a break from mine.
You taking notes?
It's just so nice to step back because you look at Anders Breivik's works, you look at it and you're like, what can I do better? Because this is the worst shit possible. But also, you know, less is more. That's what Anders Breivik's manifesto taught me, is that less is more. I could use more pictures, but he does in the preamble of it, he talks about all the various ways it can be distributed. So he gives you permission to distribute it for him. And so he puts a whole thing in there about how he would have included a lot more pictures and diagrams, but they would have made the file too big to share on just an email. And I don't want to have all these different Dropbox links floating around because this is sensitive materials. And it's like, fuck you fucking piece of shit.
1,500 pages of that.
Not of just whining.
So annoying.
and it's complicated whining.
Yeah.
It's the worst kind. I keep it simple.
Welcome to Last Podcast on the Left, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Parks. I'm here for the complicated whining with Henry Zabrowski.
It's me, Anders Breivik. It's Breivik.
Breivik.
That's what I was listening. Oh my God, hours yesterday. I was driving to Venice Beach. I was back and forth, and I was just listening to the audiobook of One of Us, and it gets it in there. It's Anders Breivik.
Breivik.
He has an audiobook of his manifesto?
No. That's me reading it aloud to people on the street.
Oh, this is a great idea for the Patreon. You reading people's manifestos.
And that's Ed Larson with the $1 million ideas.
Hey, what's going on? I'm currently working on my manifesto.
Honestly, that's our restaurant.
Yeah, manifesto.
Manifesto. Where
Fucking
you have to
10-page menu.
I just have to go through my screens, and then you have to read every one of my shout-outs.
Anders Breivik. It's Breivik? Breivik. Anders Breivik was a Norwegian spree killer who murdered 77 people over the course of one long afternoon in July of 2011. While 8 people were killed at...
Fuck him. It doesn't matter what his fucking name is, a piece of shit, but I like the... Breivik.
While 8 people were killed in a bomb blast Breivik set off in downtown Oslo, 69 were shot at a summer camp for politically active youths on the nearby island of Utøya.
Now, we can't talk about how, unfortunately, with that number, no matter what we do, no matter what I do, I see the number, and even in the most solemn of moments, and I'm reading the most incredibly
We said we wouldn't do this.
I know, it's just incredibly serious.
We explicitly said we wouldn't do this.
I'm not doing it. But I was just talking about it. It was commentary on it.
Commentary on the thing that we said we wouldn't do, that we said was just for you and me, and we weren't going to share with anyone else.
Nice.
What are you talking about?
Well, as far as his reasoning went for committing one of the deadliest one-man shooting sprees of the 21st century, Breivik had convinced himself that he was fighting against the tide of Muslim immigrants by murdering those he felt responsible, the so-called cultural Marxists. That was a self-made term, by the way.
Why can't they all be like World of Warcraft, where everybody shows up at a designated time, and it all happens, and everybody's asking me, where do we have our potions, and where do I go? I don't understand.
But in targeting the island, Breivik went about his one-man war in the most cowardly way possible. Instead of targeting anyone who might fight back, he went for unarmed Norwegians between the ages of 14 and 25, i.e. political enemies who posed no physical threat.
Who also had no idea that they were his political enemies. This guy, I also want to make sure up top, because Anders Breivik loves the concept that he is a freedom fighter and a terrorist, and that is why he loves the moniker of terrorist. Like he tried to earn the moniker of terrorist. That's why we want to make sure what he actually is a big floppy Norse fucking pussy. That is a spree killer. Well, he's a spree killer, so we want to make sure we put it in that context.
Yeah, he's a spree killer.
Just because you got a stupid manifesto doesn't make you some kind of highfalutin Osama bin Laden type. Okay, I know you think you want that, but you don't have the infrastructure. As a matter of fact, Osama bin Laden had friends.
Yeah, he did.
You know, like he doesn't. That's how unlikable Anders Breivik was.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Al-Qaeda's still hanging out.
They're having barbecues. They're hanging out. They're doing shit. They're playing games. They're playing soccer and shit. There's a lot of stuff besides terrorism that Al-Qaeda does. It's kind of they have a community outreach program to get more guys in there. That's the term. But this guy, Anders Breivik, he couldn't even convince other haters to like what he hates.
Piece of shit.
Indeed.
Correct.
To make matters worse, the immediate response by the Norwegian authorities to Breivik's killing spree was bungled on a level that nearly surpasses what happened at the elementary school in Uvalde, Texas in 2022, where a shooter with no experience in firearms managed to kill 21 while police waited outside.
Hey, those cops were scared. And you need to think about the cops. I think about those cops, and those kids just started life. And those cops knew what they would lose. So it's so hard. I will not defend those children.
Breivik spent well over an hour on that island, casually murdering teenagers and young adults before police finally managed to make their way out there to stop him. This was despite the fact that Breivik actually tried giving himself up twice, basically telling authorities over the phone, "Okay, I'm done. Come get me."
Come and get me.
But when they didn't, he resumed killing anyone he found by first shooting them with a rifle, then putting 2 pistol bullets in their head, all in the pursuit of a misguided and misinformed quest to rid Norway of those he held responsible for their increasing Muslim population.
And let's be clear. Norway's still pretty white. So I don't really know what he's talking about. A lot of the stuff he made up, and a lot of the stuff, obviously, he made up from his fart-filled gaming chair while playing World of Warcraft.
Well, he made up a lot of it himself. Other people made it up for him. A ton of it's made up. We'll get into a little bit of statistics later on to dispute all of this fucking horseshit that these guys peddle every single day.
It's all white. White people, white snow, white... Yeah, everything
white food.
It's white. Yeah, the herring, herring.
It's all white. Yeah. It's very interesting because he's like, it's just an example of somebody who has not stepped past his computer screen that believes he has a full read on the entire society at large, where it's like, no, dog. You sit inside all day.
Yeah.
You don't do jack shit.
Don't talk
You're
to
not
them.
a part of society.
No, you can't judge society based on simply reading shit on the internet.
Because guess what, man? It's wrong. And all of it, especially this right wing, what they do to sort of like, we're talking a little bit before the show, because there are obviously left-wing fascist ideas along with right-wing fascist ideas. There is left-wing fascism. But I never understand why right-wing fascists think that the only thing that you could do to combat left-wing fascism is to replace it with another type of fascism.
Well, the thing is that this guy there wasn't even left-wing fascism.
No, there wasn't.
He's fighting against nothing. He's fighting against ghosts.
Yes.
He hates Muslims and he killed white kids.
Yes. Now, as far as his personality went, Breivik was a narcissist of the highest order, a failure in everything except the act of murder, a continued blight on society from the moment he was born, and tragically pathetic in every way.
Have you seen his chin strap beard? I feel like that's the first example that you're not the Ubermensch. If you cannot grow the connectors from the mustache to the beard, I don't think you're going to be the king of Norway. The Norwegians have big, thick-ass beards.
Yeah.
Famously.
Yes.
Well, up until he began earnestly preparing for his assault, Breivik lived with his mother and spent most of his time online in a location he himself dubbed the fart room. And he was so off-putting and repellent that he was kicked out of every real-life organization he tried to join.
Of other miscreants.
Yes.
Like, literally, he would specifically go to where it's pretty easy to be included and specifically get cut out.
Fart room does, make me, kind of. That's funny.
Yes, it's funny. But it's the only time he actually had a sense of humor in his entire life.
The one time, yeah. And in Norwegian, it's fatsrom, which is even funnier. Yeah, it makes it even funnier. As a result, Breivik became a creature of the internet. In his later years, he spent most of his time either playing World of Warcraft, voraciously reading extremist right-wing blogs and message boards, or taking pictures of himself cosplaying as a Knights Templar or a Special Forces op while wearing his trademark vacant stare.
He has said copyright. And actually, if you try to do a Norwegian vacant stare, which is like, I will not, just to try to get sued by Anders Breivik, I'll try it now.
Yeah.
You can't see it. It's only visual. You can't see it, but it's...
Yeah. You have to go to our Patreon.
That's right.
In order to see that trademark vacant stare.
Come for me, you Norway lawyers. I don't know if do they have lawyers over there? Do they have to sit in a bucket or something? Do they talk to a duck?
Yeah, they throw a penguin. If it lands on its belly, he's guilty.
Whoa.